Hello there, everyone. Hello. Sorry, I'm a minute late. I was chatting in my private messenger with a few of you. So I appreciate it. If you've got any questions, absolutely just drop me a private message and we can chat. Absolutely, anytime. I love it. Okay. We're here every Friday. We're doing this thing called 101 Ways to Make Money in Real Estate. And, I started off this in January with a list that I had generated from a question that I had asked in a large real estate group. If the chapter, if the name of the book was 101 Ways to Make Money in Real Estate, what would a chapter title be? And, everyone contributed, and I came up with 101 titles from that post, but they started getting a little funky as we worked our way through them. And then I found this cute little meme that also had 101 ways to make money in real estate. They seemed a little bit more practical, but they just, there are things that are so obscure and, that nobody's really focused on those. So, you know, there are 101 ways to make money in real estate. I just want to say that, and if you want to sit down and analyze them, you can, but you'll overwhelm yourself, won't you? Okay. The idea is, of course, to open your mind and understand that there are more than one way to skin a cat. Okay. And you'll read so many different systems and you'll have so many different people trying to teach you their way. And I want you to understand that even my own way, when I teach my own systems, I have had my systems set up for years. Okay. You can't possibly think that you're going to get the same results immediately that I have taken years to develop, right? That's just the reality of the situation. I hope everyone understands that. But what you have to understand is that these are seeds that you plant for your business. Okay. Your systems are your seeds that you plant for your business. When you instill a system in your business, and this is where a lot of agents really just kind of miss the mark, you know, they're either buying leads from Zillow or they're doing something that is so physically intense that it's unsustainable. Okay. I want you to think about implementing some systems in your business that will allow you, to have the freedom to actually do the things you want to do, work with clients or do something different while your systems are working 24/7. Okay. So when you've got that in place, you've got a lot more options to consider. Okay. But today we're going to talk about marketing a listing in a slow time. Okay. Let's focus on what our topic is for today. I'm going to give you some ways to market a listing. First, you got to get a listing, of course. Now that's a different topic of conversation, getting the listing. And I'm just going to touch on that for a minute because obviously you have to have a listing before you can worry about marketing it, right? So to get a listing, and I'm sorry, let me just correct this. I can't stand it when it's blurry. So I'm going to touch on it real quick. Getting listings in this type of a market. I'm going to guess you've probably seen this post. It's been posted multiple times in multiple groups that, where they ask the question, where did your last 2 or 3 listings come from? And there are hundreds of agents that will respond to that post. And I have monitored those type of posts. And of course, I've analyzed my own business as well. 95% of those comments in those posts indicate that their last several listings have come from their sphere of influence, has come from their email list in my case. That's where I accredit everything to, is my email list. That's where my relationships are. Okay. So, when you think in terms of that, this is what I'm talking about when you're laying the seeds and building systems in your business. You're going to need transactions 5 years from now. You're going to need transactions 7 years from now. You're going to need transactions 10, 15, and 20 years from now if you plan to be in the business that long. Okay. So you need to have systems in place that will cultivate those relationships seamlessly. So I want you to think about that. The longer you postpone building this foundation for your business, the longer your business is just going to continue to be on that, that hamster wheel, right? You're constantly grinding unless you have systems in place that nurture your relationships. Okay. Now that's just words of wisdom from experience. It truly is. Okay. If I can tell you that I can look back onto my business and I remember having the epiphany that, hey, I need to be able to hold on to these people, right? Because you spend a lot of money developing the data for your business, right? So unless you've got those proper tools, and I'm not talking about canned email crap, okay? I am not talking about canned email crap, but I'm talking about building genuine relationships in your ecosystem outside of real estate, okay? And one way you can do that, one way we're going to start talking today about your marketing listings that you do get, right? They're going to come from your sphere. Unless you're going to do something, a completely different division, what I would call a division. Like if you were going to, for example, set up an REO division for your boutique brokerage and you were going to seek REO listings. That's what we did the last time this turned. Okay. You've got to have an avenue in place that's going to feed you listings, because the average consumer isn't going to turn over enough, really to get those hard, cold listing leads that just pop. Okay. In today's technology, today's market, people just have a closer network with social media. Everybody probably knows 10 realtors in their social media world. Okay. So you've got to rise above. And that's where your business is going to come from in the future, is your innermost circle. Okay. So number one, you need to optimize your online presence. All right. I will tell you that I look at literally hundreds of Facebook profiles a week. I've got 3 housing groups that I invite realtors into. Of course, I invite realtors into this group as well. And I can tell you that sometimes I can look at somebody's profile who is a realtor, and if I were an average consumer and didn't know, and I'm just looking at this person's profile, I would never know that they were a realtor. I would never know. Okay. Some of you don't even put in there. Some of you don't have Facebook pages. I'm talking about on a larger scale. Like I said, I see hundreds and hundreds of profiles that just aren't polished, that just aren't inviting as a realtor. Okay. So that's one thing you want to take a look at. Make sure that your social media presence is polished across the board, that your brand colors are the same, your messaging is the same, all across the board, so that you have continuity in your brand. Okay. And then I want you to utilize social media when you're trying to market listings in this type of atmosphere, in this type of a market, right? I want you to utilize your social media. I can tell you the last time that this happened, social media and Facebook didn't even hit the scene. They were barely scratching the scene the last time the market crashed, and we had to think outside the box. Okay, now I hate to say the market crashed, because it never really crashes. It comes back. It always comes back. Let's say shifts, okay? The last time the market shifted so badly, right? you had to think out the box. You had to think outside the box. And we did not have social media back then. Okay. Not like we have today. So what did I do? All we had was open houses, you know. That's how you could get the biggest eyes on your brand, is by print ad, magazines, right? And open houses. Everything was very physical back then. A lot more work, right? But I'm sitting there with close to 100 short sale listings in my pipeline, and I'm not exaggerating. And we had to think outside the box and get people in the door. And this is what we did differently. We held a yard sale every Saturday morning at our open houses. They were vacant short sale listings, and we knew we had to get eyes on them. You know, we knew we had to get eyes on them to sell them. And that's what we did. 100 people will come out for a bloody yard sale, you know, but they wouldn't come out for an open house. So that's just a story to be told, right? But utilize your social media. Definitely utilize your social media. Learn how to create Facebook marketing ads. And I'm not talking about clicking on your CRM. Learn how to craft unique marketing messages that speak to your avatar. Okay? That's what I can help you with if you need help. The next thing let's talk about is hosting of those open houses and virtual tours. All of this has one theme, right? When you have a slow market and you're marketing listings and they're just not flying off the shelf like they did 2 years ago, you've actually got to think outside the box. You've got to put eyes on your listing somehow, some way, right? Of course, open houses and virtual tours, they're still going to be there. You know, it's a slow dragging process because you can't get as many eyes on it as you can, for example, with a targeted Facebook ad. Hopefully you've got a targeted Facebook ad running at all times on your listings. Okay. But virtual tours, absolutely. You can do a virtual tour. Simply walk through your home with your cell phone, but do more than just do that. Do it on your business page and then put some money behind it, right? It doesn't have to be a professional video for you to put some money behind that and make an ad out of your virtual walkthrough that you've done, okay? That's what we're talking about, putting eyes on your brand, putting eyes on the listing, okay? Of course, it has to be priced competitively, okay? Now, this is just like fishing in a barrel. If you got a listing that's sitting there, okay, you have to manipulate that price because the power of the MLS is your biggest tool. All right. So every time that you do a price reduction, even a slight price reduction, okay, I'm talking about $5,000, hopefully, if necessary, because people think in terms of $5,000 chunks when it comes to real estate. So when you drop that price $5,000, right, you have suddenly opened that up to a whole new group of buyers who previously had not even seen your listing yet because it was over their price point. Okay. So every time you manipulate that price, and I know it's sometimes hard to get the seller on board, and I know sometimes you have limited space there to work with on the pricing. I don't care if you reduce it $1,000 or $500 or $100. And I don't care about the naysayers who have an opinion about that strategy either. It has worked every single time I have manipulated the price because the MLS tool is your biggest tool. And every time you manipulate that price, thousands of emails are sent out through the entire board for every realtor who has a saved search set up in their MLS or their website for a consumer. Okay. So get it done. Manipulate the price. You know, on our Airbnb listings, we have to manipulate that price all the time. You know, that's part of the algorithm for that. Okay. The next thing I'm going to chat about is network with real estate professionals. If you got a listing that can't get sold, try doing a broker's open. I don't know about your market, but broker's opens go much better with wine and cheese. If you feed a bunch of realtors wine and cheese, they'll start to get creative and give you ideas and or bring a new buyer to you. But, obviously that is something that, you want to try and do professionally. You don't want to irritate people. You don't want to, I'm going to suggest you don't email blast your listing to realtors. They've got it in their MLS. They really do. So that's really all I would recommend there. But you can absolutely reach out and make phone calls and communication. Here's our next one. Consistent communication. I think they'll go hand in hand with these two. I'll tell you what I do on my listings. Every time an agent hits the showing instructions, of course, I've got a planned program that I get a text message that so-and-so has accessed the showing instructions. Typically, they'll call the seller direct or schedule it on their calendar, on the calendar. I reach out with a text message to every agent who taps that showing instruction. I reach out with a text message immediately, the address, let me know if there's anything I can help you with, and my name. I just open that dialogue with that agent that has tapped on my showing instructions. Okay. They have a text thread there anytime they need to respond. Most of them will. And also it gives you a great opportunity when the showing is finished, just simply text them and ask them for feedback. You'll get it quicker, easier, and you'll get honest feedback as opposed to them trying to remember which house it was the next day, when they get the system email. Okay. So communication, constant communication and networking with other real estate professionals will help you get your listings sold faster. Okay. All right. So let me know if you have any questions or comments. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. I hope that has helped you a little bit, and I'll see you next Friday. And if you need any help, absolutely drop me a private message and let's talk. I'm here. Okay. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.